This is Marketing of Today. I'm Cesar. Let's go! Hello, Bryant. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, brother.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. It's a pleasure having you on the podcast today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
You know, Brian and I know each other because of an emergency case. It wasn't because, we like follow each other. None of that. What happened was he needed someone to do a video. And, I was available. I made it happen. I was not available, but I made it happen.
That's true.
That's how you create connections. That's how you build relationships and all that. And from there, Brian and I have had different type of conversations. We actually one day dove really deep because of a situation that was going on that is still going on, by the way.
No way.
Yes way. The thing is, bro, I don't, I'm not that guy. Oh my God, no, I'm not that guy.
But I was that guy that one day, though.
No, you did handle it. You know what I mean? You called them and you were like, yo, what's up? Let's do this.
That's crazy.
Doing God against the wall. But you know who you are. You still out there. Don't worry. Listen, like I told you that day, I'm a conversation person. If you talk to me, we can get things done. But if you're ignoring me, we got problems.
That's a different story altogether.
Because it's like, for me, it's not about the situation. It's the disrespect.
The principle.
Exactly.
It's the principle.
You know who you are. We're not going to dive into that right now. We're actually talking about the industry in the sense of how building a foundation for a business, trying to become someone, trying to become a successful entrepreneur. It's not that easy, and how sometimes, we do make money, but we lose that importance of family, those one-on-one connections that we don't create very regularly. So go ahead and dive into that. Give me your opinion and what you think on this.
So what I could say is when I started to create myself, so I have 17 years doing this. So in year 15 or year 14 is when I actually had the fortitude to stand up and go my own way and do my own thing. Mm-hmm. Right. So what I wanted to do was, I wanted to show people who I really am, because I was so used to working under somebody else, and I had to I had to represent their vision. Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. And I had my own. So the first year was kind of like a dud, right? I didn't really do too well. But what I did focus on was putting out videos of who I am, introducing myself to the world, and then putting my own spin on everything. Then the following year, I had a really important conversation with one of my mentors that year. I was thinking about going back to their company, and he took accountability for his part, but also made me accountable for mine.
Okay.
And during that year, it was actually 2020. That was one of the toughest years of my life, because that year I had broken my back. I had to learn how to walk again. I wasn't in the gym anymore. Coronavirus happened. And not to mention, I was actually just getting out of a relationship where I had to leave and go back home. Oh, wow. And when I went back home,
that probably hit you, because
it hit me hard, because
going back, I
didn't have any furniture. I had no furniture.
Starting from scratch.
So what I had was a mattress. I had a mattress that I kept on the floor, and I had bags of clothes.
Talk about getting humble.
Yeah, that lined the wall, and I'm like, that was my closet. So
talk about getting humble.
I talked to my mentor about it, and we developed a plan. And then the first month of 2021 was actually the month that I made the most money ever. So,
yeah, because you basically had new energy, new willpower to, go out there and continue building.
Yeah. So January was by far my best month. And in the month of January, I cleared all my debts, was able to buy stuff for my son.
We call all the powers of the earth. So January, I can do the same.
Exactly. Would love to. And the main inspiration for me was my son. Mm-hmm. I'd bring my son over on the weekends, and I would literally look at myself and say, is this what my son has as an example of what it means to be just a human? You know what I mean?
Of course.
Do I want him to end up in the same position? I don't. I never wanted that for him, so I had to do it for him at that point.
Of course.
So, the money part was straight in January, but the health part wasn't. I still had a mattress, so I changed all that. I bought myself a bedroom set, and I started going to the gym again after I learned how to walk. Started working on the treadmill, then I went to the Stairmaster, then I started weightlifting again. And back then I ballooned up to 300 and something pounds.
Wow.
And
So we're talking about this is 2021. You're going through all this situation, trying to figure out, how's everything and all that stuff.
And then in 2020, I also was going to court because of my son, more time, things like that. So it became a very complicated. Yeah, I went through a lot that year. 2021 was, I would say, one of my best years financially. But there's a difference, right? Financially, it could be your best year, but sometimes having the money doesn't necessarily equate to having everything that you want.
Of course.
Money doesn't buy happiness, but I think to a certain extent it does. But it
makes situations a little more comfortable.
Exactly. I mean, you can have the watches, you can have the shoes, the suits, and all that stuff. But if you're using your money to change situations for other people and circumstances, then I do think that money buys happiness. And I'm one of those people that I become really happy and joyful when I can get somebody out of a situation that otherwise I wouldn't be able to if I didn't have the funds.
Well, yeah. So before we go into that, because we're going to dive deep into that situation, I'm even going to tell a little story about myself. But, for you, going back to zero and having to build yourself back up, how, like, psychologically, how did that go into play into you?
Psychologically, I got to be honest with you. Psychologically, it was a very depressive state for me.
Okay. How do you handle it?
So the way that I handled it...
Because let's be... Quick recap. Like Rocky right here. Bam, 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 bam. You're talking about you got separated. You had to fight for your child. You had an accident. You broke your back. You had to rebuild yourself. And then on top of that, you need to make money because you were sleeping on the floor, essentially.
Yes. And that was...
It's a lot of ras, bro.
I feel like life had hit me so hard, and I felt like it wasn't gonna stop. Right. So, when somebody's bleeding a lot, they say to put a tourniquet in and apply pressure. So I look at that. I look at my life that same way. So what I had to do was, I was bleeding from every angle at that point.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was I had to apply pressure, but the pressure that I had to apply was on myself. So, the days that I didn't want to get up and I didn't want to do anything, I really just had to do it. That's it.
At the end of the day, yeah.
I had to do it.
That's a good point.
It by doing all of that, it gave me something to focus on. It occupied my time. And, so at that point, what I did was all that pain, the sadness that I had from the heartbreak, from breaking my back and not being able to do anything, from my child, I took all that energy
and used it
towards my goal.
Amazing. And see that, crazy times we're in, right? We work in the real estate world. I do my side and the video side, but I don't only do that. I do podcasts. I diversified a little while back because I was like, just in case. Right?
Smart idea.
It's smart. At this point, everybody says it's a smart idea. But, at the time it was like, okay. But, when people listen to this, and this is why I want to actually bring out this point, and I'm going to look straight in the camera for this part. When I decided to do marketing of today, it was all about market. Like, the whole point was to teach people how to market themselves and how the marketing of yesterday is no longer the marketing of today. That's why, hence the title, Marketing of Today. Sorry for marketing of today so many times. But that was the point of the podcast. Little by little, I understood that in order for you to be a business person, there's a lot more. So there's more behind the scenes that people don't see. And I think these are the conversations that need to happen in order for you to understand why that person is successful. Why is that person reaching their goals? So imagine anybody who doesn't know you, doesn't know your story, doesn't know that you went through that situation, they will never understand why the hustle is real and why now you're focusing on helping people become also successful.
Yeah. It's so, when you think about everything, my goal, after I experienced all the success in 2021, my goal for 2022 was to help others experience that level of freedom. That was actually a real goal of mine. It wasn't obviously I wanted to double my money, but my real goal was I want people to know what it feels like to be free in the way that I was free. Okay. Because I want people to feel that as well. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't ever get the chance to feel that.
Yeah, of course.
And I felt lucky. You know what I mean? So everybody has a why. Now the thing is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So I can only do so much. But to be honest with you, this year has been a year where financially I'm not where I was last year in any way, shape, or form. But
things change.
What I did do, and I can proudly say this, was I changed the trajectory of a couple of people's careers in real estate.
Of course.
You know, and I did it with joy. Nothing. I didn't expect anything in return, and nor do I expect anything in return. So where maybe last year I had the money, but no real relationships. This year I had real relationships, real influence, but just a lot less money.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people don't see that, right? We were talking before we started the podcast about like what you were doing when you were younger, right? When I was a kid, my happiest moments were going to a park with my family on a Sunday. We'll go to church and we'll go to a park. And then money started becoming a part of it. People that we were getting to know were becoming part of our lives. And now that simple fact of just spending some one-on-one time with the family wasn't anymore like the priority. It was, okay, we have relationships, we got to work, we got to do this, we got to do that. And, you know, as a business person today, it's, for me, is really kind of rough because I look at that, I want that, but I am so busy with everything I have to do business-wise that I can't do it. It's like, okay, let's go to a restaurant, but I'm always rushing. Oh, let's do this, but I'm always running.
And that's the worst.
Bro, it's like...
That's the worst.
It's like... And then, you know, I started hearing this lately, and I gotta admit it, I'm falling part of it, and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna make that happen. I am a slave of my calendar now.
I know what that's like.
Where I hear this a lot. People say this phrase, if it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to, so, you know, cool. It's like, I'm going through something right now, for real, because it's like, right now, I want to sleep more hours. I feel like I need to, I'm not rested enough. I feel like I need to have 20 coffees a day. And it's crazy because it's like, okay, cool, I'm providing for my family. We're putting in the work. But you look at everybody around you that did that. And today, some of them are successful, some of them are not. So what is it? And this I'm asking you because, you know, you hit it and you went back and you have ups and downs, you know?
Yeah.
What is it that is the key that this time around you're good, but next time around you might not be good? What happens there? What is it that you do different? Do you know an answer to that, or is it just figuring it out?
Well, the one thing I'll say is this, right? I think a lot of times Instagram and social media platforms really tell lies.
All the time.
And comparison is literally the thief
all
of joy.
The time.
Comparison is a thief of joy.
And you know another thing that people love is real quick? Your negativity.
Yeah.
How many pieces of content don't I make?
A lot. You make a lot of content.
And which one went viral?
The one in Spanish.
We're talking about how bad New York is.
Yeah, literally. And it's like, that's probably the least one that you expected to go viral.
I'm not even in it.
Exactly. You're right, though. You are right. You're not even in it.
I feel like I give the viewers so much value. And we try to provide people value. They just don't care. And then what's crazy is people won't comment on a video that says, post, video, whatever. People won't comment on a video that says, hey, look, you could buy your house. This is how you're going to do it. This is how it's going to happen. Or, hey, look, if you're trying to leave the Bronx, you can move here. Or, hey, look, if you're trying to open a business, this is what it is, right? They won't comment on that, but on that negative post where people are having a battle talking about, oh, it's true, it's a lie, it's true, it's a lie, and people will go like, oh my God, you guys, then get the hell out of here if you don't want to be here. So it's like, you give me your attention for the negative stuff, but you don't give me your attention for the positive.
That's because, I was told this, a couple of years ago.
325K views.
Yeah.
No, so again,
42.
I said that wrong.
342.
342,000 views, and I'm upset. I'm not happy.
I wouldn't be happy either.
It's like the worst post you can make in your life is the one that's getting the most light.
It's not. It's so backwards.
It's so freaking ironic, bro.
It's so backwards. And that was kind of how I kind of rose up, believe it or not. You know, like if you look at my Instagram, people could look at my Instagram right now and be like, oh, Brian's just like, he's just living a great life. There's nothing going on. He's so positive. Okay, so if I'm being transparent
and genuine,
stuff right now for me is not good, right? It's not. I'm struggling right now where, like business wise, I'm struggling. And I'd be more than happy to take in whatever business I can. But the truth of the matter is that I found that even now, like loyalty is just something that's very, very hard to find.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to talk about loyalty, but loyalty is a word in the dictionary that I think people have forgotten the actual definition of.
100%.
They relate loyalty now to dollar signs.
What happens is, and you got to think the Fresh and Fits, the Andrew Tates, all these people out there that are hitting everything in the nail, right? I've thought about starting a podcast about that, but I don't think I have the stamina to argue with someone like that.
I would love that. I do.
I love it too in private, but I'll give you a little snippet, right?
Yeah.
The certain things, the this, the that, the pronouns, this, in order for that to exist, the man and the family environment need to be put down to the floor.
Yes.
Right? The family, the big family, having, and something that Andrew Tate said, and look, my heads are going up because it's so true. Women today believe that, their diplomas, they're this and that. That's what's important. If you're happy and if you're genuinely happy about that, good for you. Congratulations. The world's free and that's why you can do exactly whatever you want to do. But there's nothing more happy than when I wake up in the morning and see the smile on my son.
That's the best.
When that kid he wakes up and he's like looking for his mom, he smiles at his mom. When he's looking at me, he smiles at me. There's no money. There's no car. I've been in every single type of car. I've driven every single type of car that it is. Everything that gets famous on social. I have videos. I have everything. There's no money. None of that. I was driving a Porsche, bro. Porsche 911, my dream car. That was about a year and a half ago. My son beats it every time.
Of course.
That smile, no teeth. He's growing his teeth right now. That no teeth smile where he's like, good morning. Like, my dog beats it every time. Those are genuine love. There's no interest. There's no need. There's no wants. There's no nothing.
But that's the thing. I think the world is sadly mistaken when we talk about men. I think men really, in reality, men thrive on genuine love.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is we don't experience it the way that others would. And I'll say the way that women do, right?
No. Yeah.
Us, it's we have to build ourselves up to experience that type of love because it's never, I just like him because he's a nice person. I like him because he's ambitious, because he has a good job, or because he's this, he's in shape.
There's a prerequisite list.
Yes, there's a list.
And that's like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna put my wife on blast. I told her one day she needs to come on the podcast, but I told her, you will never put my son's name as my name if you didn't see the type of man I was.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, look,
whenever you hear that if you're Cesar and your son's name is John, figure out who John is, because that's who,
Yeah. And that's the thing, I listen to Andrew Tate. I'll be completely honest with you. And I agree with a lot of the things he says. I completely agree.
Completely.
And believe it or not, that is... But
he's not radical.
And he's not.
He wasn't.
He's not.
He needed to do it in order to get the attention. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my producer mindset right now, real quick, right? Sorry that I keep cutting you off.
No. Let's go.
I have a podcast that I'm producing for someone, and when she came with the idea, it was about women and understanding that you need to be a mom and a woman at the same time, but also have family foundations, right? Mm-hmm. Like the rights, this, the that, and the third. That was when she told me that. Andrew Tate just got kicked off of social media. I was like, there's a hole. Let's go. Because Andrew Tate, in all reality, if you take all the bullshit of like, you need to be submissive, all that wording that it was to create the impact, to create the outlandish, hey, let me come on social media, right? If you take all that off and you bring it down to the reality of the message.
The base message, yeah.
The base message is, listen, be a family. Understand that a woman, when she has 15 kids And out of those 15 kids, she has 163 descendants. And
It's a beautiful thing.
Right before she's dying, she goes into a family reunion, and you got blocks full of cars because all these people are your family. There's no amount of money. There's no amount of houses. There's no amount of cars that will ever fulfill your heart with that.
Of course not. They don't care. Nobody's going to care about what you did for a career. Nobody's going to care about what diploma you have. Nobody's going to care about how many Gucci bags you own. Nobody's going to care about what kind of car you drove. What matters is legacy. And for me as a man,
thank you.
Legacy.
So let's bring it back, right? So the reason why family is so important is because a man needs a woman to create a beautiful son where I'm gonna leave my legacy too.
Yes.
When I found out my wife was pregnant, right? Because it was a surprise.
we all want a son.
Yeah.
We all want a son.
We want a son. And all I told her was, listen, all I need you to do, listen, whatever you want, I got you. I'll work for it. I'll work hard. But all I need you to do is create a great son for the future. Mm-hmm. Build a man that I can leave everything to. One, that will be resemblance to the woman that you like him to have. But if you're talking to me about Gucci and going to the club, then that kid is not, all he's going to think about is, oh, that's the real life.
That's why one of my nightmares is having a daughter. But this is the thing, right? The thing about having a daughter that's tough for me is that I've always thought to myself, even at a young age, women like Gucci, they like Louis Vuitton, right? Okay,
but that's right. That's okay,
and that's okay.
It's not. We're not. By the way, no. We're not saying that that's wrong.
No, not at all, not at all. I like the fact that, but you know what it is, is that because growing up, the world has become a little bit more superficial, right? Mm-hmm. What do we typically, what do women typically go for, or what do they like?
Yeah.
So older guys that have the money that can buy that stuff. I would be damned if I allow my daughter. I'm gonna have to work for that lifestyle to give it to her, because if somebody else does it, it's not gonna be anything new to her. You know what I mean? And that's also part of my legacy. The legacy is gonna be, my father was a great man that worked very hard, provided me with everything that I needed. That I didn't need anything from another man. But I do also appreciate the fact that when she gets married, that is essentially me giving her away to another man.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that man is not somebody that's in the club all the time.
Exactly.
Right? Does drugs. Relies on alcohol.
Exactly.
Things like that. Like, I don't want that. I really do believe in love.
But as a man, you have a son too, right?
Yes.
So as a man, you're also creating a child that can find a woman like that.
Yes.
But you're thinking in your mind, right? It's like, where is this woman?
It's hard. And when it's hard to find that woman. Like, it's very hard.
I got lucky.
And you know what?
Because my wife has never questioned, has never said anything. And when I told her, listen, you need to stay home, think about this. You get paid $2,500. Daycare is $18. Does it make any sense for you to go to work?
But that's the thing. It's trusting you, right? It requires trust on that end. And unfortunately, we live in a world where I feel like we're questioned to the end of the world, the end of the earth, I would say, as to why we want something done a particular way. But think about it. You're my partner. I'm not going to ask you to do something that's going to hurt you in any way, shape, or form.
So now, talking about partnerships, because that's the reason why partnerships don't work anymore today.
Yeah.
Back to loyalty. People don't have loyalty. So if the world itself is having a problem with partnering, loyalty, being together, and like everybody's about the bread, the Gucci's, the this, that's the reason why we're in a spiral decline where who knows where we're going to end up. And that I believe that there has to be a reset at some point. When is that reset coming? I don't know. But there has to be a reset back to regular stuff, like where it's okay for us to partner. It's okay for us to trust each other. It's okay for us to work together, right? And it's like the conversations you hear, I don't know if it's social media that makes it viral, but the conversations that you hear, nobody wants to partner, nobody wants to be loyal, nobody wants to work together.
And that's the problem. So I'm trying to change that little by little. I'm trying to change that little by little as we speak. I do have my group of people, and they are loyal. And what I mean by they're loyal is, I had a conversation with one of my agents who happens to be one of my great friends as well. And she was like, well, I'm not going to use another lender. I'm not going to bother talking to anybody because you're my lender. They encourage us to use 3, but I don't need to know anything about this person because you're getting the job done, and this is what it is. And I'm trying to create a culture where that's the amount of people that are around me have that same type of mentality. It's hard. I get it. Look, when somebody dangles $1 in front of you and you really need that dollar, right? You're more likely to take it. So I can understand that people can get weak.
Okay, but now you're bringing me to another one. I get it. You know how many people have offered me, hey, look, you'll be good. I'll be partner up with my company. Be exclusive, you know. I don't know. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get it. But when you started your business, this is a question I always ask them. If someone will come up to you and told you, hey, leave what you're doing, join my company where you have no ownership, you're just an asset to the company, would you done it?
No, you're building somebody else's dream. Absolutely not. I refuse to get...
Especially when your name has already weight.
Yeah. That's the thing.
There's a value, there's an intrinsic, what's the word?
Intrinsic, yeah.
Intrinsic value behind the name already. Like, you have created an image. You have shown people what type of person you are. Mm-hmm. You have explained to them. You have created relationships that whenever a business situation is going to happen, of course they're going to go with you because I'm with you.
Yeah.
And if you don't value that, then the conversation is over at that point.
I tell a lot of the people that I work with, I relate what I do as a career of real estate, whatever, to actual relationships in real life, right? You know, if when you're in a relationship with somebody, you know, you want that person's loyalty, but I feel like a lot of times the only thing that we say is loyal. Like, loyalty to a lot of people is just be faithful in terms of a relationship.
Listen,
be faithful.
When I saw what loan officers do, right, where they are here today, tomorrow they get a bonus in Juanito's shop. By the way, if your name is Juanito, I apologize because I've been throwing smack to a Juanito out there. And honestly, I don't know any Juanitos.
There's no Juanitos right now. I don't know any either. Just saying.
Right, because the Juanitos in the comments like, yo, ta 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 ta.
Not you, Juanito.
No. But you know, the Juanitos are out there. They're skipping companies. They're flipping here to there. No loyalty.
No.
The real estate agent, same thing. Oh, they're giving me more bonuses here. I'm getting this. No loyalty. It takes time.
But you know what the thing is? It's not even just loyalty. It's just lying. It's flat out lying.
Yeah.
And I will say this because everybody does need to know this. But the people that I took out to lunch and dinner in the beginning of the year when we were going out and you were telling me that you were going to give me business, I do remember you. It's not.
You
and
forget.
no hard feelings. I get it. But at
business.
the same time, it's. If you knew you didn't have any intention of doing anything, why sit down with somebody? It's very fake. It's very fake.
But that's the thing.
The steak wasn't that good.
Those are the people that are not in the business anymore.
You're right. And those people that are struggling. And now they call me and they're like, hey, Bryant, like, what's up? And I'm like, oh, what's up? Because I'm not taking you out for steak again. We're not doing that.
With that said, people, I'm a loyal person. I tell people they need time to get to know this from me, but if you work with me, if we work together, right, I keep things quiet. Whatever conversations we have, nobody needs to know about. Nobody needs to know about our conversations, right? This is our conversations.
Yeah.
So I could... Déjalo ahí. No, it's cold in these two offices. That's dumb.
I love it.
The people that I work with, right? I have genuine relationships. I work with a lot of big title people. Like, not title companies. I mean, title in the sense of the business. Mm-hmm. I know all of them. But you don't know who I know.
No.
The reason why you don't know who I know is because the reason why I know them is because they know I'm not going to be talking about their business. Because as a marketing company, I'm not that guy who just shows up with a camera. Hey, what's up, bro? No, I'm the one who says, what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Let me see how I can give the better light to your business. And that requires trust. That requires relationships.
It does. And that's like, I noticed that as you develop more relationships and get busier, it's harder to maintain your personal life where it's like, you know, whether it's you or meeting a significant other, family life.
Me being with my son.
Yeah. I mean, I love my son. By the way, my best feeling, you know how yours is when he opens his eyes and he looks at you and smiles? The best feeling for me comes when I can watch my son eat. When I watch my son eat something that I either cooked or that I bought him, I literally stare at him, and he looks at me. He's like, "What are you looking at?" And he doesn't understand the joy that I feel.
Of course, because of
I provided. That's my sole purpose.
And it's not no macho, no this, no. It's the fact that you're able to provide, and you don't need welfare. You don't need to go to food stamps. You don't need to. Yeah. You don't need the assistance, and because remember,
we all came from that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, and nothing wrong with that, right?
Listen, I disagree.
You disagree?
Yes.
Because, what do you mean? But when I was younger, we were on food stamps. Man.
I understand, but you got out of it.
I mean, everybody's going to get out of it. Oh, well, there's the people that make the active choice not to get out of it, I guess, is a little bit different.
Thank you. It's an enabler that allows divorce, that allows for houses to break apart, that allows for a lot of things that if you didn't have the option, you'll work through your situations.
Yes, I can say that. I can agree with that.
If another loan company wouldn't be giving you $100,000 bonus for signing up with them, you will stay in the company that you're with.
Of course.
But because this loyalty is lost completely because there's always a better option, that's the reason why the world is the way it is.
Yeah. Yes. I 100% mic drop. I can agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But
my point is right? Because you're understanding what I'm saying. I'm not only looking at it as the one person who really needs it. I understand you need to get back on your feet.
Yeah.
All day, go for it. No problem. No, I'm not judging you. I'm judging the person, because I know a couple that decide actively not to move forward with their life because they're living off that $1,000 food stamp. Mm-hmm. Where it's like you could not be living on it and have more opportunities, but you're choosing to stay on it because life is a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I used to see peanut butter out of a can. Like, it was a can, bro. Like,
telling me some stories today, bro.
A can.
Like, damn.
Okay? Like, and that's why I always say, like, when life was simpler for me, it was when we had no money.
It was.
It was, like, my relationship with my brothers was so much closer when we had no money. After money got involved... Yeah, the $1,000 dinners and the $1,000 dinners. And,
I haven't had one of those yet, but okay.
Yeah, but like the trips to Miami and the jet skiing and the parasailing and all that stuff, like it's nice. Beautiful. And they're experiences. But what's ingrained in me as a person is when my older brother, who was basically like a father figure to me, because my father was working 2 jobs.
To be able to provide.
My brother would take me every Saturday to the Pancake House. And he would do it on his pay, pay that he was working when he was working at Food Town.
Oh, wow.
Right. And they didn't pay much. Right. So he would take that money, take us to the Pancake House every Saturday. And then every other day it was just, 10, 12 slices of toast, or if not, a box of saltine crackers with iced tea. And those were the moments that I lived for, and that I realized, you know what, my relationship with my brothers was much closer back then. And now that I'm here where I am right now, my idea of what it is to share wealth is a little bit different. I would essentially like to have a relationship with them where we're all making tons of money and we're sharing our money, cars, everything, houses. That is the way that I would like to live my life. And it's funny because we were talking about Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about him and the reason why his words resonate with me so much is because a lot of the things that he says now, I was putting into play back in 2019, 2020.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like, why do I feel so different from everybody else? Why is it that I feel like I can't relate to people? Why do I view loyalty like this? Why do I want my relationships to be like this? Why is it that I apply so much pressure on myself to be better? Every person that I've ever met and any relationship that I've ever been in, an intimate relationship, they've all told me the same thing. You don't give yourself enough credit. You don't rest enough. You don't sleep.
But do you think that has to do with the fact of how you saw your dad work and how you saw your family dynamic begin to where now is like, I can't allow myself to go back to that?
Yes.
Like the
very
judgment
much.
of yourself, not of other people, none of that. Because we all have internal battles every day. Would you think that that's what created you and how you think about things?
There's 2 things that created that. So when I was a child, I always had anxiety. My father would come home for a half hour.
Still have that same anxiety myself.
And I battle anxiety every single day that I'm awake. I battle anxiety. If I get up in the middle of the night, I battle anxiety to a degree where I think it's almost crippling. But at the same time, I think back to those days where, you know, my mother, when I was younger, would call me at 3:00. Hey, Bryant, I need you to make rice. You know, your dad's coming home at 3:30 and the food needs to be ready. So I learned how to cook at a really young age.
Oh, wow.
And my father would come home and he would have a half hour to eat and then maybe like 20 minutes to nap before he had to go to his next job. So the food would be ready and I would take a nap with him. But there are moments when I would fall asleep and he would just leave and I wouldn't feel him. And as soon
So you
as
were still sleeping.
yeah, and waking up, I would feel that anxiety from abandonment and I would start crying. And when I would see him leave, I would start crying because I was stuck at home with my mother and, you know, like childhood was very, very difficult for me. Mm-hmm. And like now that I'm older, I see how much work my dad and my mother obviously put into making sure that we were alive and okay.
But sorry for
Yeah.
You are your parents you're an immigrant, right? Your parents came first time.
I'm first generation American.
So you're first generation American. So they came from where? Sorry,
From Peru.
So from Peru. So they were working because they didn't have the language. Mm-hmm. They had to get whatever jobs they could.
Cleaning. We used to clean the build. MCI. I don't know if you remember MCI as a telephone company.
No, because I'm not that. You know.
So my parents when I was younger, my parents used to work at MCI.
Okay.
They had the same job, and the building was located in West Orange. So
here in Jersey.
Yeah. So that building was located in where I was raised basically, and we would go together as a family and clean that whole building. I would help my parents clean buildings and bathrooms and stuff like that.
Latino style.
Yeah. So my mother would be
Remember when we were young, we had to be in the business. Whatever they're doing, we did.
Whatever they did is what we did. My parents would be like, all right, Brian, you got the third floor. What I got to do? I got to vacuum this. I got to clean the tables. I got to clean the toilets. And I have to make sure that everything is organized. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a job that would have taken my parents, you know, 4 hours, 5 hours to do, we got done in 2 hours.
That means they had an extra 2 hours to be with them right after that.
We had the manpower.
Because you got to do the work.
Yeah.
But see, that's another thing. Like, we got to bring this point up, and probably going to get hate for this one. I know I am going to get hate for this episode.
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready for it, too. When you see Americans, when you see third generations, what is it?
Lazy.
Espérate. Trátamelo bien. Treat him nice. I don't want to get killed. Okay. Complaining.
It's a lot of complaining. It's a lot of entitlement.
And we did not go to the best schools.
No. Not at all.
Some of us didn't graduate college.
I didn't go. I went to college one semester.
Some of us freaking work our asses off. And some of them come, but at the end of the day, we're the ones who rise from the ashes.
Mm-hmm. Phoenix.
Because we are the ones who understand the real work. They complain. They say that, oh, you know, my dad, my this, my family, my boo, like my last name, my Juanito, my Juanata, you know, all the all the what is, what has, and what's not. So the whole point that I'm trying to get at with this is, why is it so hard for our community, Latinos, instead of getting together because we all come from the same struggle, instead of becoming one and building something amazing like the Jewish? Bro, I respect them not because of their ways.
They take care of each other.
They fucking take care of each other. No, you don't hear. They won't talk bad about Moshe. They'll talk to Moshe bad about Moshe, but they won't talk bad about each other.
Do you know Moshe?
No, but you know, I'm just saying.
I know Moshe.
I'm just saying
I love
the name. But you know, they protect each other.
Yes.
And they're building together. And they're going to become the next power in the world because of how they work together. And the fact that they're not allowing anyone else in to their environment.
Exclusivity.
It's the reason why there's no cancer in there.
Yeah. You relate it to bread or even a fruit, right? If you put a piece of fruit in a basket, and let's say that one piece of fruit that you add into the basket has mold on it, it's going to spread everywhere.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just like mold on bread spreads.
They actually get kicked out when they're bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get kicked out. Like, yo,
you can't be
in this community. Bye-bye.
I relate it to just one thing, and I think it happens in all other races and ethnicities. I relate it to hate. And I don't mean hate like I hate you. I mean, I relate it to hating on each other, right? Because the truth of the matter is the way that most people are wired is we like to see people succeed and we'll clap for them every now and then.
Yeah.
But if they're doing something better than us,
Yeah.
all of a sudden it becomes resentment. And I don't
It's
understand
like,
why. Yeah.
Yo, you know this guy is...
Right? Oh, you know, like when I was up last year, the consensus was Brian's full of himself. And it wasn't that I was full of myself. It was because I was genuinely appreciating the amount of work that I was putting into not just financials. It was my health, my body, the way that I conducted myself, how I expressed myself.
You were feeling super positive. You were
everything.
feeling...
And I feel that way now. Like, it doesn't matter. I can have $0 in my bank account right now, but I will still, no matter what, feel like I am the best person. I'm the best choice out of everybody. And that's not to say that I'm better than anybody else. It's just to say, okay, I look at myself and see what I've been through. Broken back, broke, mattress on the floor, you know, overweight. And I've been able to overcome all those struggles. Why shouldn't I look at myself as I'm the best?
Of course.
You know, so it's no shade on anybody. But the truth of the matter is, I think when somebody sees you in the element where you're just crushing it, where you're doing amazing, a lot of people don't take too well to it, which is, I don't know, it drives me crazy.
If you think about Ty Lopez, I'm dropping names like crazy Lopez, today, yeah. Bro. No, I was watching a podcast yesterday from Ty Lopez with the Steve Graham kid, you know?
Yeah.
So he's coming back.
Really?
But what Ty Lopez did, right, when he was on top, because he was on top. He was making money. He was marketing. He was freaking amazing. Everything was on point. The mansion, the this and that. People started hating. So
I'm not gonna lie. I got annoyed with him too, though. I did get annoyed seeing his face. So
okay, but
I'll admit that I just, I didn't like him.
But what happens is when you're in a state, personal state, where you don't see that light, when you don't see the possibilities that he was having in front of him, where now he buys all the companies that are in foreclosure and all these companies that are name brands, and he's revamping them and going online. He's doing that behind the scenes. Nobody sees that. Nobody follows him. Nobody listens. He's not doing no marketing. He's not doing it. He's just doing his thing quietly in his corner.
Yeah.
Now nobody, where's Ty Lopez? He probably
fell off.
That dude has money. Yeah. That dude is good. But what happens is because he was being too loud, we want to jack him in the head. Same thing happened to you, right?
Yeah.
You were being too loud. People were like, shut up, bro.
I experienced that this year too. It's like
I always say this on the podcast, I'm quiet in my corner, and there's a reason for that. But I don't want to be.
But you know what it is though? My loudness doesn't come from the typical way of being loud. Mm-hmm. My loudness comes from the effect that I have on other people.
I get it, but other people don't see it that way because they don't know you.
So the thing is,
they judge.
I have cheerleaders.
Yeah.
I have people that speak my name and I appreciate them so much. Whoever you guys are, I love you. You know that. But I have people that speak my name into rooms that I'm not even in. And
I love that feeling too.
And then all of a sudden.
That's a great feeling, people.
Yeah.
If you have someone that speaks your name when you're not in there, you're doing good.
Yeah. And when you take a look at that, people are like, well, who's this heavy slim guy? Mm-hmm. You know how many people have asked that question?
That's a good username, by the way. Heavy slim. Heavy and slim.
And that's the thing. I went from heavy to being slim. And then one day I wrote it on my backpack in high school and it's always stuck with me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So this is like back, way back.
Yeah, the name is from high school. Half my life already. You know what I mean? And it always traveled me. But the one question that people always ask is, who's this heavy slim guy? What's his deal? Mm-hmm. What is he trying to do? The truth of the matter is, I can let everybody know this right now. I am literally trying to change the dynamic or the way that the real estate industry is perceived, because the way we're all perceived in the real estate industry is nice cars, fancy shoes, expensive suits. And the truth of the matter is I could care less. I literally do business the way I'm dressed right now, a t-shirt and jeans, because I don't need a $10,000 suit to prove that I know my stuff.
But remember that the people that are on Instagram are not the one doing the business.
Yeah, you're right. They're not the ones that are doing the business, and they're hurting too.
The ones that are doing the business are the ones who are quiet in their corner and do multi-million-dollar deals.
I need to be quiet.
I'm telling you, because look, I actually have conversations with people who could be doing marketing and their business going so much more, but they're like, dude, I literally have so much business right now that if I do that, for me, it's going to be a waste of time.
You know what's crazy? I can actually agree with you. So my brother's.
I've had a lot of conversations, bro, in the past year.
My brother's a lender as well. My older brother's a lender. He got me into the business when I was 18. But he's quiet, and he does a good amount of business. I'm louder, and my business is not where his is.
So
crazy that you just mentioned that, because it
back
makes
to the marketing, right? So this is where, like I explained, give value. Enough conversation needs to be about value and what I can help you with, and then from there, the rest is like extra. So yeah, throw the car in the store one day. You have it. You know, like let's say like Ty Lopez. Like, that ad is right here, bro. You know, I have a Lamborghini, and it's the newest Lamborghini, la la la. But what you see, in my garage, the most important thing is not the Lamborghini. It's this books right here.
Yeah.
It's that curveball, right? So in your case, it's the other way. It's like the most important thing for us is making beautiful content for people that want to change their lifestyle. You know, I come from the Bronx. Let me just say, I come from downtown New York. I come from East Orange. Not where East Orange is today, where it's an investment hub. No, I come from East Orange when East Orange was East Orange. So I was able to get out of that lifestyle. I was able to build from there, and thanks God, I bring my parents with me, bring my family, and grow them. So today I'm here to help you fulfill that dream for yourself. It's very different than saying, hey, I'm in my Lamborghini, because that's already milked. They already milked it.
Yeah, Lamborghinis have become not as impressive anymore on videos.
No, none of it. Not even the Bugatti.
Nah, the Bugatti Chiron.
Yes, but I'm saying not even the Bugatti, because anybody could buy any type of Bugatti, the ones that are lower class, and say, I have a Bugatti.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if you have the last Bugatti. For people who don't know about the car, what matters is you have a Bugatti.
Yeah, it's just a Bugatti. That's it. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I mean, come on, let's think about it. A Bugatti or a car is just a car.
Bro, we know, because we're in this business, that it's not that hard to acquire those type of vehicles.
No, it's not.
All you got to do is have the down payment and the credit. You're good. And then the capacity of paying it monthly. If tomorrow you get screwed up, that's your problem. But for now, you can pay it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I used to look at things like that as a status symbol, and I no longer, like, it's funny because you buy the nice car, right?
You buy it as a marketing.
Yeah, you buy the nice car.
You buy it as a fucking marketing.
You drive in it for a month, and you're like, all right, it's a car. And it no longer holds the same value after 1 month of driving it. And I can assure you that, because even when I bought my car right now, it was fun to drive for the first month. Now that I have my car, it's actually a pain in the ass because, you know, low profile tires cost $600 a pop.
And you pop them very often with all these holes.
Every time I hit a pothole, I'm like praying to Jesus.
That is good.
That is good. And I say, ow. Like, my car makes me say, ow. That should not be.
So, with that said, people, I'm telling you, I drove a Ferrari. I'm fucking going to just name drop all of them right now. I drove a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. I drove a Porsche. I drove the AlphaTauris. I drove... I've driven everything. The Range Rovers. And when you get in the car, it's another car with a whole bunch of options.
Yeah.
And then when you get in a Ferrari, the shit doesn't even have options.
Because it's plain.
It's fucking plain.
Those cars
it's
are
just
plain.
A car.
Yeah, their cars are plain.
All you have is an engine. Literally, go buy a Hyundai, put a freaking V8 engine in it, and you have a Ferrari.
Yeah, literally. It's just not the emblem.
So the whole point at the end of the day is, I'm not trashing anybody who has a Ferrari, because I understand some people put that as their milestone and they get it. Congratulations. Good for you. But at the same time, for anybody who's listening to this, who's trying to start their business and has that as a goal post, and they don't see it, that they achieve it as fast as Juanito did, maybe you didn't do the things that they did. Maybe you didn't knock somebody in the head. Maybe you didn't take somebody else's business. Maybe you weren't bad. Maybe you didn't do wrong, right? Maybe you just stood quiet in your corner and grew little by little and didn't go super fast and burn your name, right? I have brand. My name is today a brand. Because everybody knows that whenever we do something, it's going to get done. And it's going to get done even better than you expect. So it might take sometimes a little longer than you should.
Yeah, and let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. You're going to experience your bouts of depression. You're going to experience your bouts of anxiety. You're going to experience all that stuff. And, you know, just to keep it a buck with everybody, like, you know, even now, there are days where I do battle depression. I battle depression on a daily basis. But at the same time, depression for me is just a state of mind. It's not, depression is not something that's permanent for me. You know when my depression goes away? The minute I step foot into the gym in the morning, boom, I lift the weights, I do the cardio, I do what I have to do. I'm there for about maybe 2.5 hours a day, and that starts my day. My depression is no longer there because you know what? Now I'm on to the next, goal that I have for today. Submit this loan. My life, I live it very fast, and this is where I learned it. This is why I'm going to say it, but the truth of the matter is, if you live life a little bit faster and you're consistently busy, depression really can't catch up to you. Because you're constantly working on yourself.
You have to wake up. You have to move.
You're constantly improving.
have to have that conversation in a positive light. You can't be like, oh my God, I feel so weepy. No.
I can't do that.
You have to be on point.
I made myself a promise, a long time ago, that no matter what situation I'm in, I could be down, I could be rock bottom. It's not going to stop me from every single day getting up and doing the things that I have to do as a man. I'm never going to let that deter me from going to the gym, from going to work, from, just improving myself in any way, shape, or form, because you know what? Improvement will happen, and eventually you're so far improved.
That's what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me when I went to my depression at 25. When I did that, when I got out of it, I said nothing's going to stop me from reaching my goals.
No, and this is coming from, and the reason why I feel like I can speak so freely on depression is because when I was 18, 19 years old, I tried to commit suicide. You know what I mean? I tried committing suicide.
Everybody knows in the podcast, but I did too.
But I tried committing suicide maybe 5 times in my life. The first time being when I was 18, 19, I overdosed on 60 pills. And I left a suicide note under my bed and everything. I did. My brother found that suicide note, and luckily I had woken up, but I had woken up and threw up the lining of my stomach. It was all black. I went deaf for 6 months. I couldn't hear, and I wanted to take my life so badly. You know what I mean?
60?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. They were Excedrin PMs.
How do you get so many pills, bro?
There was like the like in Costco or whatever, like they sell the big bottles. So I took one of those bottles and I just downed it. That's it. I was ready to go.
Why?
So back then it was because I didn't really love myself. That's just the truth. I didn't love myself. I was severely overweight. I was. Well, remember that
at that time we were always looking at the super Disney slim, beautiful guy, strong, hot girl, all bullshit. And like, if you were a little fat, you were the wrong guy.
But what's crazy is that I never had a problem with women.
I'm saying in general, saying that the image that you were supposed to be.
Yes, it wasn't that. I was 400 pounds, and not just that, but I was also going through a breakup, and I was like, "What is my life right now?" I didn't have a son back then.
I'm 19.
Yeah,
now I laugh. Wait, now I laugh because I went through I'm 30 right now, and I went through the same thing. But now I laugh. But at 18, you're thinking the world is about to end,
and it's not. The world's not gonna.
It ain't shit. Like literally, trust me. You have other reasons to die in the future.
Exactly. But that feeling carried on.
It's funny how we can laugh about it now, but at that time you were not laughing.
No, I wasn't laughing. And the thing is, that feeling carried on itself into my 20s.
Of course,
I know. Even when I had a son, there were times where I'm just like, all right, it's just time. I gotta go. But
really,
yeah, and slowly but surely,
I feel you a little bit, but I think my repression state, I have it so blocked in my mind because I honestly did hit rock bottom. But the reasons were the wrong reasons. And today, sorry that I cut you off. But it was a moment.
This is what it is.
I look at this.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Like you said it yourself when you came in, you were like, holy shit, right? I look at this and I'm like, if I'm not doing something right, then I must be going crazy because I have everything that I ever wish I had to be able to do what I do today.
Mm-hmm. And the truth of the matter is, if you would have done anything back then, if you would have succeeded, there would be none of this. Mm-hmm. There's a purpose behind everything, right?
Bingo. That's exactly where I want to get to.
And for me, the way that I saw things is, even in my 20s, but then at a certain time, point in time in my life, I had to have a conversation with myself, and I said, you know what? I'll never do this again. Even if the thought crosses my mind,
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, Heavy Slim is positive. He's outgoing. He loves to help people.
You decided what image you wanted to present of yourself.
Yes, and I love to breathe life into people. I do. That is something that really helps me out. Like, people don't know the type of person that I am on the outside, like when nobody's watching, but I really am that person that if I do see somebody struggling on the street, like I will help them. I'll ask him, are you okay? I'll go up to the random kid in the gym that doesn't know what he's doing and he's really skinny. And I will tell him, hey, listen, buddy, like, I'm glad to see you here. Like, let's work out together. You know what I mean? I saw a kid walk into the gym with one leg. He was an amputee and he was having trouble finding his balance. So I knew that it was very recent. And, you know, he was there with his friend, but at the same time, like the way I admired him so much.
Because it takes a lot.
And I had to say that to him. I stopped him and I'm like, hey, listen, I just want to tell you something. Like, you know, I have so much respect for you and the fact that you're coming in here.
And doing it.
And doing it. And he looked at me, he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and I want to keep seeing you come in here because like you pushed me to do better. Because even in your circumstance, which is worse than mine,
you're doing it.
You're doing it. So at the end of the day,
that's incredible.
You're doing much more than I am.
That's incredible. That's incredible because sometimes we just say, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, you know, it's not going to do any changes. But this kid is actually, his life is not going to change. That's his life.
Yeah.
But he's still trying to get fit, still trying to move, keep himself active and keep himself in a good space, which is incredible.
What excuse does anybody have at that point? Like, seriously, you know, like, and I love rock bottom. I do. I thrive in rock bottom because the saying goes, rock bottom can teach you things that mountaintops could never teach you.
Completely. That's why, for me, like, after going through depression, being able to come out and be here, right? It's like every day I think about how am I gonna have my son not go through a depression, but go through a state where he understands the value of hard work and being able to build something great.
The growth stage. The growth stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's time to get real about situations. Like, I'm a person who's, everybody knows, and I think everybody's gonna tell you, that can say this about me, that I'm a very positive person, that I have a way of, when something bad happens, I have a way of spinning it into something really positive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've helped a lot of people.
Talent when you're after depression.
Yeah, and the thing is, I have that effect on people, and when I need help, I don't really ask for it. I deal with my own stuff. But people don't know that I actually get up in the middle of the night, and I won't sleep because of the wheels that are spinning in my head. How can I? Yeah, I don't sleep. Like
my problem is now that I don't stay up.
I don't sleep, man.
I knock out, bro.
I can't. Like, I got up this morning at 6.
That's how I dealt with my depression back then. I used to sleep a lot.
Yeah. So I got up, like, I'll give, like, last night for an example, right? Last night I got up maybe 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Right? And the 4 times that I got up, I only got up the last time, which was at 6, because I'm like, okay, it's early enough to actually get up. Mm-hmm. So I sat at the edge of the bed, and what was going through my mind at 6 o'clock in the morning was thinking, like, okay, how am I going to get myself out of whatever it is that I'm in? How can I continue to do this? How can I provide that? You know, and you know,
you were figuring out what solution. You were being solution driven through that situation.
Yes, so. and I am solution driven. Even at 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, when I wake up,
mm-hmm.
I'll wake up like from my sleep, and my eyes will be wide open.
Oh wow!
And I'll just look at the ceiling, and I'll think to myself, like, am I even being like the best version of myself right now? Like, how can I change that?
It's interesting.
Is there anything that I can implement in my life right now? Mm-hmm. Me as a father, you know, me as a dog owner. Like, it even goes down to being a dog owner for me too. It's like, damn, I really haven't spent time with my dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how's my dog doing? How are the people around me doing? You know, is this person still struggling? How can I help that person out? You know what I mean? And then sometimes I overlook myself.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I'm so busy trying to create solutions for everybody around me because I don't want anybody to struggle. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I overlook myself. But that's a thing that happens to me every night. It's not just one night.
Is it true? Do you believe it's true that if you don't work on yourself, then you can help other people?
I think it depends on your experience.
And the type of help that you're trying to provide?
Yeah. I think because you know what? I've been in the mortgage industry for 17 years now, but I also went to real estate school, right? And while I was struggling, I helped a couple of agents get listings that
change their life.
Put money in their pockets, mm-hmm. right? So that is not the example of putting your life vest on before you put the life vest on somebody else. That is a pure example of saying, hey, listen, I know how to swim. I can swim a little bit for now, and I'll put my life vest on after, but but I'm gonna give you this life that's right now because I know right now
you're gonna drown if I don't help you, you're drowning.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
You know, for me, experience plays a big part. You know what I mean? And I'm lucky enough to have people in my circle that care about me, that truly care about me. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for all of them because they do. They check up on me. They know that I go through certain things. That's important. And they'll call me and say, hey, like, Brian, are you okay? Or is there anything? I get messages like, did you know that you're amazing? Do you know that you're this? Do you know?
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's a pure example of giving people their roses while they're still alive to smell them.
Very good point. A lot of people wait till we die to show us love, and we don't even know that you're showing us love at that point.
I call people randomly. Like, I'll be in the car, and I'll listen to a song, and I'll call people randomly and say, hey, listen, I just want to let you know that I love you, and that, you know, I'm very appreciative of you being in my corner and you being loyal. I appreciate it so much, and I want nothing but the best for you. And they'll be thrown off. They'll be like, what? Where does this come from? And then they think that I'm going through something where I'm just going to end my life. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with that. This is not a goodbye.
It's the moment. It was the moment I felt like I needed to give you a call. I gave you a call. That's it.
And I have to tell them, like, listen, I want to give you your roses. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's important because I don't know what kind of day you're having. I don't know how your day started. You could be questioning your existence right now, or you could be questioning whether or not you're doing the right thing as a mom, as a dad, whatever.
It happens. So what I started doing with my phone was I stopped looking at my phone. If I woke up at 8, I won't look at my phone until 9.
Okay.
If I wake up at 9, I don't look at my phone until 10. If I wake up at 10, I don't look at my phone until 11. Because what happens is you get into the social media and then I'm already behind on everything.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know if you guys have this. I know you probably have this. But blue.
Me too. Me too. I'll have 75 messages that I don't read or whatever get
and then
to.
You go to the email and to say, you remember as a business owner, you got business bills, house bills, that, charging customers, which is the best part in the world in the business.
It is.
Getting a customer to pay you. It's a lot of work.
But
I need people.
Going back to overlooking myself, it's funny because
people don't want to work.
I don't necessarily care too. Like, I care about my health. But in one aspect, I care about my health by going to the gym. Okay. But when it comes to going to the doctor or the hospital, like, you won't catch me there.
My mom has come 3 times and she's like, when are we going to go to the doctors? You haven't gone to the doctors in 2 years. I'm like, Mom, I'm good. I just don't want to be in the doctor.
I don't even have a doctor. I have a pediatrician. And I still call my pediatrician. And she literally tells me all the time, like, Brian, like, you're going to have to stop, like, calling me.
Brian, how old are you?
I'm 34. Dr. Mañar. You're my day one.
34.
I'm 34. And she tells me, she's like, Brian, like, you know.
Do you know what she's going to do? She's going to retire just so you to stop
She
calling.
talks to me like I'm Peter Pan, telling me I have to grow up at some point. And I'm like, I don't have to grow up. Like, you delivered me as a baby. You're gonna be here for the rest of my life.
So you've been 34 years going to the same doctor?
Yeah. When I have to. But I barely go. But when my pediatrician gets my phone call, she knows, okay, like, Bryant needs something because he never calls.
So, with that said, people, thank you very much for joining us this week. I'm just kidding. But look, like, just to leave everybody with a positive message, I love what you've been doing. You're explaining how you treat your situations, because there's a lot of people, and I know there's a lot of people, because I'm one of them, that struggles with feeling good, feeling happy, feeling sense of, like, you know, being comfortable within your skin. Don't look at what other people are doing. You never know what's going on behind those closed doors, which happens a lot. You don't know what deals these people have, right? Everybody's life is different. Everybody's life, it's in their own style. So the message that we were trying to portray at the end is that we're not perfect.
No, not at all.
We're not the best. We're the best. No. We do our work. We try to do it at the best we can. We want to help people. We want to help people build their businesses. We want to help people achieve their goals like we have been able to achieve ours, right? Mm-hmm. And in the long run, somehow, some shape, some form, that will pay off. So if you're a person that is trying to build your business, you're trying to become better every day, listen to stuff like this. Listen to people, because that's how you can relate and know where they're at and where they're coming from. So, Brian, leave people with another positive message, because you've just been killing it all day.
So if it's a positive message I could leave everybody, it would be failure is a very common thing.
Oof.
And every day you're going to fail more times than you can imagine, because I have as well. And what I want you to understand is it's not about failing, and it's not just about the failure. It's about failing forward. You're going to learn so much in those failures, and you may be going through a depression, anxiety, you may be facing a whole bunch of things right now that you don't talk about. But the reason why I'm coming on here and saying all this is because I have that positive image, but I want to let you know that I go through it myself on an everyday basis. And if I can go through it and I can work through it, I want you to know that you can too.
100%.
It's not the end of the world, and it's never the end of the world. And your life is too important for you to question whether or not it's valuable. And, I want to thank the people that have been in my corner, my realtors, my friends, my girlfriend, everything, for just getting me to see a different side of life, giving me a different perspective. And you all have that. You all have people that you mean the world to. And if you're struggling to find out what you're good at, the one piece of advice I could give you is go to those 3 people and ask them, what could you depend on me for? If I had to do something for you and your life depended on it, what would it be? And if they through that answer, you're going to know exactly what it is that you're good at, and capitalize on your strengths and just work on your weaknesses. But just know that no matter what, with every door closed, one opens. So just be positive and understand that it's never the end until you die.
And if you're 15 years old, listen, you're young. A lot of things are still happening. You're going through things. Life it's not finished yet. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, because I was a 15-year-old, 10-year-old. I was in high school. I went through the bullying. I was bullied. I bullied. I've been through every state. As a view, if you're watching this, I appreciate that you've stayed all the way to the end, but thank you so much. But it's okay. Life is not over. There's a lot of more of you that you can be giving. There's a lot of more building that can happen. And you will become successful as we have become, even though sometimes we don't see it because we're thinking about 10 steps from today. Because you're always evolving, you're always building, you're always finding out new doors that you can open. But you will get here too. It just takes time, patience. Listen to Gary Vee. He'll help you with that.